I'm storyteller and author Pleasant Despain, and you have a wonderful imagination. Welcome to Pleasant Journeys. My story for today is from Sweden. It's called Lindy and the Forest Giant. It's found in my Books of 9 Lives series, Volume 1, Tales of Tricksters. Let's begin. Long ago, there was a very large and lazy giant who lived in a dark cave on Goat Hill. And the giant ruled the valley below him. And he had certain demands. He said that the people, the inhabitants of the valley, they had to help feed him. He wanted a very fat cow brought to his cave entrance at the first of every month. And if anyone wanted to fish in the nearby lake, well, they had to give the giant 1/2 of everything that they caught. And he also wanted a large block of cheese delivered right to the cave entrance at least once a week. And the people below, they lived in great fear of the giant. And if they didn't meet his demands, he grew angry. And he would throw large boulders down the hill onto their houses, their barns. He would steal their cattle at night. It was a terrible way to live. So Lindy, she was an inhabitant of the village, and she must have had a very special gene because Lindy, she was never afraid of anyone or anything. And one day, she decided she was going to make the giant leave the valley. And she got her fishing pole and line and went to the lake, and it wasn't long before she caught 6 fat trout. And then she walked right up to the entrance of the cave. It was dark inside, but she said, forest giant, full of fleas, here's 3 fish and some cheddar cheese. And she threw 4 rocks all the way to the back of the cave. The giant roared with anger, and he came outside of the cave, and he was so large. He could have eaten Lindy with 1 gulp. How dare you tease with me, child? Now, give me all of your catch, or I will step on you. Said Lindy. You're big and you're mean, but I am strong. And if you don't hush up, I'm going to break your leg. Said the giant, we'll see about that. I don't think you're very strong. You're just a little girl. Said Lindy, then we should have a contest to see who is stronger. That large tree right there, let's see who can poke a hole right through that tree with their head, and then we'll know who is the strongest. Said the giant, well, I've never had a contest like this, but I'll go first. And he ran right at the tree with his head bowed and bumped right into it. And he didn't even make a dent in that tree. But he rubbed his head. Ow, that hurt. Well, maybe I should give another try. And so he backed up a bit further, and with his head bowed low, he ran right toward the tree, and bam, he hit it so hard. The whole valley shook just a bit, and the giant collapsed to the ground. He had knocked himself out. And that was what Lindy was waiting for. She ran over to the tree. She had a small, sharp axe in her backpack, and she chopped, well, first she peeled off some of the bark, the front of the tree. Then she chopped a hole right through that tree, big enough to put her head through, and then she carefully placed the bark back over the hole. And shortly after that, the giant awoke, and Lindy said, "Oh, I'm sorry you knocked yourself out. Watch, I'll show you how it's done." And she ran toward the tree with her head down and popped right through that bark. And her head popped out the other side of the tree. The giant was amazed and a bit afraid of her strength. "Oh," he said, "you are strong. You no longer have to give me half of your catch. You can keep all that you catch in the lake." "Oh," said Lindy, "I want more than that. I want you to give me the money for all the cheese, all the fish, all the cattle that you have required from the villagers below. And if you don't do that, I will squeeze you in half." "Ooh," said the giant. Okay. Come into my cave and we'll share a meal, and then I will pay you what is owed in the morning." Now Lindy knew he would try to kill her, but she accepted the invitation. She went into the cave with him, and they had a feast of fresh trout, and he ate such a large plateful that it wasn't long before he fell asleep. That was what Lindy was waiting for. And she went out of the cave and she found a small log and brought it back into the cave and put the blanket over the log. And then she hid in the darkest corner of the cave. And it wasn't too long, late that night, before the giant awoke, and he just took his axe and he popped it, bam, right on top of that log, thinking it was Lindy. And then he went back to sleep. Lindy immediately ran over and grabbed that log and took it outside the cave. Then she came back in, laid down, covered herself with the blanket. And in the morning, the giant awoke to see Lindy unharmed, and he grew frightened again and said, did you sleep well?" "Oh, yes," said Lindy, except there was a mosquito that bit me in the middle of the night. But other than that, it was a good sleep." "Oh," said the giant, "well, here's the money." He gave her a large sack full of silver coins, and she took the money back down to the village. And after that, the giant was so afraid of her terrible strength that he soon moved out of his cave and out of the valley. After that, the people who lived below knew peace ever after. There ends my story. Oh, it's fun to tell. I hope you liked it. If you will, give it a like and leave a comment. I'll be happy to respond to you. And subscribe, please, if you haven't. We'll keep this channel going. Down below is my website, and all of my books have a direct link to Amazon.com on that site. There are so many stories yet to tell. Another story to tell next week.